With over 20 years experience in the technology field, serving Fortune 500 and small companies alike, he holds 2 degrees and multiple certifications.
Cybersecurity expert
Will Nobles.
Boy, has he had success in his life.
Since I've started my company, I've dedicated myself in helping my clients protect the integrity of their data.
The CEO of Vector Choice Technology Solutions. Please welcome Mr. Will Nobles.
People don't get risk that's out there. Don't be careless with your technology. Your employees are your #1 security risk that you have.
Someone clicks on a link, spreads across the network, and encrypts the data on that network.
When we're sitting down with a client for the first time, one of the things we're looking at is what are they doing today to protect themselves against cyber attacks?
Just because you're a small firm or you don't have a lot of money, don't think that someone's not trying to hack you. Everybody is vulnerable.
Go into the dark web, look and see of your employees what passwords are out there.
What we do is partner humanity with technology.
Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? Let's go and get started with, I'm going to throw up a PowerPoint here to share. Give me 1 second. And we're going to start with that and go through a few things. Welcome back. Welcome. Thank you for coming back. And we're going to be talking about optimizing Office 365 while working at home. Now, there's other products out there that's competitors to Office 365, but I wanted to definitely share today the optimizing Office 365 and some of the things that you can get. Just want to cover a few things. Just me, I didn't share this on the last on Monday's webinar. A little bit about me. I actually come from a small town in eastern North Carolina. I actually ran a bulldozer right out of high school, but I ended up getting 2 degrees in technology, relocated in Atlanta, Georgia in 2002, and I launched Vector Choice in 2008. So I've got about over 22 years experience in IT altogether. The agenda today, who is Vector? The recap of Monday's webinar, and a reminder of working from home and video etiquette, and then Microsoft E1 free license and Office 365 demo, and we're going to talk about selected products and just take you through that. Won't be able to show everything today or answer all questions, but if you do have questions, you can use the Q&A and ask any questions. And then we'll talk about the webinar for Friday at the same time, 11 to noon on Friday. We'll be talking about another topic. The reason why I'm doing all of this is to share my knowledge and give back during this time of need with the coronavirus and so many people trying to work from home, and really just educating people on things to be able to do that. For the ones that don't know about Vector, we have 4 offices on the East Coast. Atlanta is our corporate office, is where I'm located at. We have New Bern, North Carolina, Washington, D.C., and Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We've done international work in different countries, and we service about 23, 24 states right now, and 2 countries actively. Compliancy, we've got experience in HIPAA, PCI, ITAR, SOX, and GDPR, and also NIST compliancy. So if you need any help with that. Here's the service offerings that we have at Vector. We got managed services, email hosting, phone hosting, a whole list of things. So I don't want to bore you to death on that, but that's some of the things that we can do for you. The recap for Monday's webinar, if you want to go to vectorchoice.com/work-from-home, you will see the actual recording there, and also some of the material that I shared with the lights, the video camera, and then also Business Innovations. Business Innovations did this backdrop for me, and I talk about in that video about having a good backdrop, or having something that's professional that's behind you, not your bed, and so forth. So Business Innovations, I wanted to at least promote them because they did help me do this banner. This is about 1 foot behind me. It's a step and repeat from a movie, but they do have smaller ones that you can use for work at home. Let's talk a recap on video conference etiquette. Make sure you test your audio before you get on the video. Don't wait until the video starts. Don't make your employees, your clients wait 5-10 minutes while you're trying to figure out your video. Make sure your video and audio is working correctly. Make sure you have good lighting. One of the things I showed, and I'll show again, is the a light here that I have shining on me right now that gives you better lighting. Proper attire. Dress like you're going to sit in your office all day long, or you're going to a client meeting. Make sure you get up, take a shower, and actually put on the proper attire. Even though I'm sitting at the house today, I still have a suit and coat on. Make sure you use the mute button. You do not want to have background noise. So when someone else is talking, mute yourself. Now, one little trick that I did not share on Monday that you can use when you're on Zoom, if you're using Zoom for video conferencing, and you're on mute, you can actually hit the space bar and hold down the space bar, and that'll automatically unmute you for a temporary time until you release it. So that's a good way to do that and not have to constantly fiddle with the computer and the mouse and try to find the mute button every single time on Zoom. Don't use virtual backgrounds. Lord, that's so distracting. Please don't use that. And then just make sure you have good eye contact with the camera. Act like you're actually talking to the person that you're sitting face to face with. And again, be aware of your background. Have something that's professional behind you. Or if you have an office at your home, make sure that it's professional and things are not just laying around. Just wanted to do a real quick recap of that. Microsoft Office E1. Now, Microsoft Office E1 is free right now with Microsoft. It's a free trial for 6 months. Now, what that gets you, it's going to get you email hosting, and it's going to get you Teams. I'm going to be discussing the email portion in Teams here in a second, but they will give that to you for free. All you have to do is come to a Microsoft partner, and we can give you a code to get that. So if you would like to reach out to us and get a free trial version, we can give that to you and for the 6-month period. Now, it does not come with the Office apps. It does not come with a SharePoint and a lot of other things, but it does come with Teams. So definitely pay attention to that. And also, who is eligible and who's not. Anybody that's never used Office 365 before is eligible, besides DoD, education facilities, and so forth. But even nonprofits. Nonprofits are free. E1s are automatically free for nonprofits. But if you've never used Office 365 before and never signed up for a free trial, you're eligible for that. So pretty much any company is eligible as long as you have not used the free trial already in the past. So I'm going to dive into now, if I don't see any questions so far, but again, if you have any questions, before I dive into the demo portion, I'm going to run a poll real fast. Who's currently using Microsoft Office 365? Now, not Microsoft Office products, but actual 365. So I'm going to launch that poll really quick. If you guys could give me a few feedback and a few answers on that, that'll be great. Good deal. So about 88% of you are using Office 365 already. And if you're confused, if you're using Outlook and you're doing email hosting with someone, and even with us, it could be Office 365 or it could be our email hosting product. So make sure you're aware of that, and you can feel free to reach out. If you're one of our clients, you can reach out to us and ask that question. All right, so it looks like about 89% is using Office. So really, you guys know what it's all about, and unfortunately, you cannot get the free demo from Microsoft at this time, but you're knee deep into it. So I'm going to go in and talk about a few things. So I'm going to move away from the slide PowerPoint here, and I'm going to now. So Microsoft 365, I'm going to show you. There's tons and tons, and all these resources, these links that I'm going to be showing you, it's going to be on our website at the work from home website. So you'll be able to refer back to these. But as you see, there's tons of packages for Office 365. I'm not going to spend the time today killing you guys of going through all these packages and what each package offers. If you want to know more, let's set up a meeting and I can go individually one-on-one what's the best fit for you as a company. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with Outlook. Outlook works the same. If you're currently, and I'm going to drag my Outlook up here. If you are currently using Outlook, from a standpoint of either with Google or some free email service or Vector's proprietary Office 3 Exchange hosting services, you're going to use Outlook. It works the same. Now, a few little tips on Outlook, and this confuses people sometimes. There is a new function in the new Outlook versions that you can have what's called Focus and Other, as you see here at the top of my screen here that I'm clicking on. Focus and Other, you can turn that off or you can turn it on. Either one, you do not have to have it. So if you're a type of person that you want all your emails in the same structure, then so be it, that's completely fine. But if you turn it on, you actually have Focus and Other. What's nice about that is that if you get an email, so like this email here, I don't really need to see this right now. It's not from a client, it's not from a vendor, or it's not from an employee. I can right click on that and always move to Other. And I can say yes. And so as you see, that email disappears. Now it didn't go away. I didn't delete it. It didn't move to another folder. It's still in my inbox, but now it's just moved here into this folder here, the Other. Other is I want to look at it, but I don't want it to be focused on my day-to-day, make sure I'm answering my clients, make sure I'm answering my customers and my employees and my vendors. So, but I want to go back to it later. So what I do is sort of my work process is I look at my Other. I either have my admin review that and delete things that I don't need to look at, or I go back and I'll look at it at least once or twice a day, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoons. So it gives you where you can respond to your clients faster. So that's a little trick with the current version. And I think this started with Office 2016, that you can use this with Office 2016. A few other things, tips with Office, and not necessarily with Outlook, not necessarily with Office 365. But one of the things that you want is keep your inbox clean. And when I say clean, don't have thousands and thousands of emails in your inbox. Find a way to move those out of your way. The easiest way I've done it, I've found to do this is not, a lot of people get overwhelmed with moving emails to client folders or subfolders. So what I do is I actually have over here to the left, you see the years that I have. And so I put a 1 in front of the 2020 so it's up at the top. And as soon as I look at an email and I'm finished with it, I move it over here and I take that away. And so that's a way to keep your inbox clean. When your inbox is not clean, you're not as effective. As well, Outlook will start crashing if you have too many emails in your Outlook. So it'll start running slow. It'll start running sluggish. And that's nothing technically wrong with the computer. That's just because you have way too many emails, and especially when you get up to the 10,000 plus emails in your inbox, that's when it really starts affecting your performance with Outlook. And there's not much from a technical thing that we can do. What we suggest is cleaning that inbox up. Subfolders in your inbox is still there. It doesn't delete it. You can still see it from your phone. You can still see it from the OWA access, but it doesn't bog down your email. And plus, you're more efficient by keeping those emails clean. So that's tricks I wanted to share with you real quick, just in Outlook. Moving on from Outlook, so I'm going to talk about Teams now, and I'm going to bring up Microsoft Teams here. And okay, so Microsoft Teams, and this time I've actually removed any communication. Monday I shared too much, but Microsoft Teams here is that it integrates with your Outlook. It integrates with everything, OneDrive, SharePoint, and all the above. What Microsoft Teams is meant for is several things. One, for a chatting message. So if I want to chat with Logan, I can just say hi, and I can send her a direct message. Okay. If I want to pull someone in and have, let's say if I pull Chelsea in here, and now I pull Chelsea into this conversation. As you see, Chelsea and Logan are both in this conversation, I can send, hey guys, I can send a message to both of them. This is a private message between me, Chelsea, and Logan. No one else in the company can see that. So that's a good way to chat back and forth. So when you are working from home, this is how we do it all the time with having multiple offices. We communicate this way constantly. One, it cuts down on your email. You're not sending emails back and forth all the time and wasting your time with cluttering your inbox with employees. And I see there's a chat message there. Okay, so I see Logan posted they work from home in chat. Okay, and so that's one of the things that you can do there is with Teams is chatting back and forth. What I encourage is, as a company, say, hey, I'm going to cut out emails unless it's to vendors or clients, internal, and I'm only going to communicate internally via Teams. And that gives you a better way to communicate. You can do searches on this information and everything. So that's a private chat. Also, if I want to do video conferencing, which I did cover team video conferencing in Monday's webinar. So if you want to go back and look at that, you can. But really, I can call Chelsea and Logan together, or I can video conference them together, as well as I can share my screen, just like I'm sharing my screen here with Zoom. So that is built in with the E1 and also built in with upper level packages as well. So I'm going to go to the team section here. And as you see here, we have different screens here. And so if I want to share different things with different departments, I can do so. So the leadership channel is only for my management team to share information back and forth. We do EOS, so this is a channel for us to share this type of stuff. So you can have sub-channels inside of a channel, or subfolders if you want to look at it from a folder structure standpoint. And so here, my staff, everybody in staff sees this. When we get surveys from customers, all my staff sees this. So if you're a customer and you gives us a survey, it automatically pops up in our teams as well. As you see, there's a survey here for Nick in this channel for right now. As you see, you can give different permissions. So like if I go to the leadership team and I go to manage teams, I can look at everybody that has access to this folder. So think about Teams and giving access is the same way of giving access to someone giving, like, to your accounting folder or your HR folder. Look at it that way. You can give access to certain people as you see fit based on the channel that you're working with. So I'm going to come down and a few things that you can do here inside of Teams. One, you can do little widgets. Like for here's a widget here for sales material. So if any of you guys say, hey, Will, or hey, Tony or Jeremy, whoever works for me, and said, can you tell me a little bit about your phone hosting product or your cybersecurity product? We have all our sales material here that they can share that link with you. So some things that you can do and give you some ideas of different things that you can do with that. And we don't use this anymore, but this is internal projects. It's called Microsoft Planner. Teams comes with Microsoft Planner, and you can actually move things around to different areas, to dos, and you can change these names to whatever you want here and so forth. So that's some of the things that you can do with Microsoft Teams and that. Now accessing files. So here is a good example. All these files here, as you see here, I can access all these files via Teams. Now, all these files really are stored in Microsoft SharePoint, which also I have access to OneDrive. Some of you guys have probably heard about OneDrive. So I'm going to go here, and so as you see all these files here, I'm going to click here, and I'm going to drag my OneDrive up. And drag that up there. So as you see here, and I'm going to minimize that so you can see both. All the same files here are the same files in OneDrive. So now I can access OneDrive and I can access my files in Teams. Other options, you can actually download the app for Teams and OneDrive on your phone, and you can access that via your phone as well. Another way, let's say you don't have your computer and you want to access the files via website. All you have to do is go to your SharePoint site, and as you see, these same files that I was showing you with Teams and OneDrive are here. So it gives you, with Microsoft Office 365, it gives you multiple ways to access the files from different locations, and it integrates all together. Now, one of the things people are concerned with OneDrive is it going to take up space on my computer? Well, yes, it will if you choose to do so, okay? And what I mean by that, if I right-click on this file and I can say, always keep on the device, you'll see this change from a cloud to a green checkbox. When it's on the green checkbox, that means now it is locally to your computer, it is taking up space on your computer, but it's still in the cloud as well. But if I was disconnected from the internet and I was on an airplane, I can still access this file and modify this file if I wanted to. It will not sync back up to everybody else until you get back on the internet. And this little icon here means that it's actually actively syncing the data from that folder or that file back into the cloud. When you have the cloud folder, it means that it's in the cloud. If you're not connected to the internet, it's not going to let you download it. So that was a way to free up space, but at the same time, be able to have quick access to OneDrive. A lot of questions we talk about, is Microsoft 365 secure? Yes, it meets a lot of the compliance requirements that are out there, and it is a very secure product. We do encourage to have two-factor authentication when it comes to that. I see another chat message.
Well, we have a question saying, do you find that Teams is more useful than Zoom for internal use purposes?
Yes, absolutely. Internally, I would recommend Teams, and that's what we use internally. Is we use Teams for video chatting, and I'm assuming you mean by between the video portion of it. Yes, I would. What we do is for our clients and vendors or any outside parties, we use Zoom, but for internal communication with video, we use Teams for that. Okay, so and that's how you free up space, and so if you're working on a project for a certain time and it's a folder, and a lot of you guys and I can go to, if you see over here our project board, if I'm working on a project for a given time, I can right click on the whole folder and I can say always keep on my device, and it's going to start syncing. And at the same time that sync, I can say, I want to free up space for this. I can right click and say free up space. It's going to just sync and push it back to the cloud. It does not delete the file from your system, okay? It does not delete it from the cloud when you do that. It actually is, honestly, it is just storing it to the cloud where it's not taking up space on your computer. Now, one big thing about Office 365, and this is not just Office 365 that I really want to share, is that the misconception that because it's in the cloud, it's being backed up. That is incorrect, okay? That is why companies like us, and talk to your IT providers, or if you would like to talk to us about it, but you need to back up your Office 365 products, okay? We have the ability to back up your email, OneDrive, SharePoint, and back up the whole package. But do not think because you put something in the cloud that it's automatically backed up. That's with Google, that's with Microsoft 365, that's with any hosting provider that's doing any hosting for you. So always ask the question, is this being backed up, and how long is the data being kept when it is backed up? You definitely ask that, but yes, Office 365, since we're talking about that, does not automatically back up. You definitely want to make sure you do that and have a service that actually backs up to the cloud. So that's OneDrive. Like you see here, the same folder structure that you see here is the same folder structure that I see over here to the left. And let's say that now I see everything that from my head top level folders because I'm the owner of the company. But like my employees, my techs are only going to see staff, operations, and probably the project board and company processes. Okay, they're not going to see other things. They're not going to see the leadership. They're not going to see the HR folder or the accounting folder. So it works the same way. You hide that information. They cannot chat it. They cannot access the files in that and everything. But that is OneDrive in a whole. And as you see here, this is the OneDrive structure and how OneDrive shows up. And also you get a OneDrive for your personal, and that's sort of where you're storing your personal files. It's sort of like in the older days when you had a user folder and you would store your personal files in that. But each company is different. Talk to your management on how to handle that. All right, I'm going to close this out, and I'm going, as you see, I get all kinds of notifications when things are updated. So I'm going to close out of SharePoint, but I'll at least show SharePoint. Again, SharePoint, same concept. You can see everything, edit everything within inside of SharePoint. Now, one of the things, if I wanted to share this folder, I can click on the little 3 icons here, and I can do share, okay? Or I can copy link. And if I copy the link, besides emailing to my staff that, hey, here's a new policy, I'm just going to send a link to that policy. One, it doesn't take up space on the email server or clutter up the inbox, but I can take and come here and I can just do copy, and then I can go to Teams, and I'm just going to go to the chat session of this team. And if I want to notify everybody, I can do at channel. And if you do at channel, that's going to notify, and it's going to pop up on everybody's action list. And I can click this link and paste the link there, and now they can go to that link to get that file. I didn't have to move the file around. I didn't put it in the email. And obviously I should have defined what it's for and what it's about. But that's the way to share links and not have to do that. And again, you can do that in OneDrive, SharePoint, and also Teams. Just copy the link. As well as you can share externally. You do have to modify that and I would suggest having one folder that you share with your clients or prospects or vendors, and break those down. There's a little security things that you have to do around that, but you can share externally outside of your organization as well. I'm not going to go through SharePoint. SharePoint is a huge beast in what it can do. But I can go in deeper in that if you guys have some questions. So your sound is still shared with your screen and it's so loud. Okay, so let me unshare my sound. I apologize about that. There we go. Okay, sorry, I'm getting all these notifications since I've got this open. All right, I'm going to go back to the different packages and stuff. One of the things that we encourage at Vector is even if you go to Office 365, you want spam filtering in front of it. Microsoft does give you a sort of type of spam filtering. It's thrown in, included. We don't suggest it. And so with all our customers, we put our spam filtering service in front of that. And that gives you in and outbound spam filtering. So just as much as you're worried about inbound spam, you want to make sure you're not spamming out or getting a virus and spamming out. So we block that outbound spam as well. So you definitely don't want to just do Office 365 without having some kind of third-party spam filtering in front of it. And as you see here, there's tons of different products. I cover SharePoints and Teams. Exchange is what most people think of Office 365. It's the mail server. It's the back end of mail. Yammer comes with it as well. Yammer, think about it as Yammer as Facebook, private Facebook. It's where you can actually invite people and you can share stuff and collaborate, sort of like a social media platform, but a private social media platform. We do not use it. I think there's enough ways to access things and communicate that kills our time. So we do not use Yammer for that. Okay, so one of the things that you'll get with Microsoft 365 is you would access portal.office.com. And when you go there, this gives you all access to everything that you have access to. And everything's here. So your users can go to portal.office.com and you'll be able to access your Outlook, OneDrive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Now, granted, it depends on what version of Office you have. E1, E2 up to E5 license of what you have and what you need to use is when and what kind of access is given by your administrator. So you obviously, if you're not an administrator, you would not see this administrator icon here. So that's accessing it that way, as well as some of the different options. As I explained here, there's multiple different versions of Office 365. Now, the version that we really we work with and that we encourage is Microsoft 365 Business. And what that gives you, it gives you, and this is key from working from home, it gives you the ability, and I'm just going to close this out so I can actually talk a little bit here on this. And if you guys have any questions and want to show you anything else about different products, definitely let me know. But one of the things with Office 365, it comes with what's called Azure AD and Intune. Okay, I'm not going to go, that's very technical, but really what it does, it gives you, especially working remotely, when a computer or a laptop leaves your office and it's not on your domain anymore, and that's your your private domain that you have in your internal network and for your IT to manage your computers. Once that laptop leaves your domain, the IT cannot really control the security and permissions of that laptop anymore. With Azure AD, it gives the IT the ability to manage those computers no matter where they're at. So right now, our customers that are on Azure AD that are working remotely, we still have complete security control over those computers from an Active Directory standpoint. And that's a product with Microsoft that really controls the logins, authentication with the computers and the server environment. So that is something that you want to look at and make sure you do. A lot of our customers are moving to that. What's nice about it, if you have 1 or 2 servers in house, a lot of times it's a domain controller that's handling that authentication for you, and we can take that to the cloud and put it in Azure AD and Intune, and they work together. And again, they're technically, so I don't want to go into depth of what those two do. They're more of the IT side of things, but it replaces that server for you. So now you can get away from having hardware in your office or in the cloud by going to Azure AD and Intune. But at the same time, you can still maintain control of your employees' computers from an IT standpoint, no matter where they're at in the world. As long as they're connected to the internet, all the policies and everything are synced up. And you get away from VPNs when it comes to this. So when I can take my laptop, I can go sit on the beach, and I have access to my files, I have access to my email, I have access to Teams and communication with my whole staff. I even have my cell phone on my laptop. I can take phone calls from it, and I never have to connect to a VPN back to my office or back to my data center. Now, granted, getting off topic a little bit, you do want VPNs to protect if you're connected to public networks, okay, or shared networks that are public, Starbucks and airports and so forth, hotels. You want a VPN, and it's not a VPN connected to your office. It's more a VPN than encrypting the data leaving your computer. That's a whole nother topic for another session, but I want to at least caveat that when I say I don't have to VPN into a network. So that gives you the benefit to be very mobile, and that's why the customers that we have and customers across the world that are all on Office 365 so easily moved out of their office and moved into a virtual environment, or move working from home, because they didn't have to worry about how do I connect to VPN? How do I do this? How do I do that? So I encourage you, if you want to learn more about Office and pricing and sort of the structure of that, migrating from your current environment to Office 365, please reach out to us. We'll be glad to help and assist that in any way possible. Alrighty, Logan, any questions while I'm pulling back up the PowerPoint here?
No, no
Okay.
questions.
All right. I hope I didn't totally confuse you guys with Teams, Office, and I hope this helps. I hope this is educational for you guys. And I'm going to now jump back to the PowerPoint here and current slide. So if no questions and we don't have any more questions about, and I'll be glad to do a individual demo or individual conversation for any companies that are on here that want to know more about Office 365 and pricing and the what if questions. I know a lot of people are scared to ask what if sometimes, but you know, even with anything, we still encourage with Office 365 to have two-factor authentication on that. Just to have that second layer of security. Remember, passwords are only as good as a hacker getting to them very easily. At least two-factor, you know something and you have something. You know the password and you have your mobile phone where you can do the second factor authentication for that. So if I don't have any questions, I don't want to kill anybody. Again, these webinars are meant just to educate, blurbs on different topics. And I set an hour a time, but I didn't really set, you know, a certain amount of time to say I've got to fill your time with a full hour. So, but I left a lot for questions. But if you guys don't have questions, I'm going to talk about Friday's webinar. And one of the things we did is when you filled out the forms, it was questions, what would you like to know? And one of the questions one of my clients asked is how to convince your boss that you can work efficiently while working from home. We're going to be talking about that Friday. I've got a special guest, Al Alper from CyberGuard 360. Me and him are going to be talking about that, how we do it as a company and how we've educated our clients of doing and working from home. I will tell you, it can be done. There's different KPIs that you want to make sure you pay attention to for your employees, but I'm going to save that and share that with you on Friday. Also, we're going to talk about how to spot phishing emails and making sure there's a lot of scams going on now with the coronavirus emails. Be careful when you're clicking on the certain emails from a coronavirus, and make sure, and especially census, the 2020 census, make sure you're actually going to the, I think it's 2020census.gov website and not clicking on links. Just be very careful. There's a lot of email communication from a lot of people going on right now, and just don't accidentally click on something because it will be a phishing email and can install a virus on your machine. We're also going to talk about training for end users, and this is working from home training. This is documentation of sending out policies to your employees of when working from home. And again, I'll be talking to Al Alper. He owns a MSP as well, but also CyberGuard 360 up in Connecticut. And as you know where his area is, he's got a lot of familiarity of people working from home right now. Of course, we all do across the world. But I appreciate everybody's time today, and thank you for joining. Again, if you want to learn more about Office 365 or any of the products, please feel free to contact me. We'll also be uploading this video to the website, vectorchoice.com/work-from-home. And stay safe, stay home, and God bless. Have a wonderful day.